Hello and welcome to my latest weekly video news from Madison's. Well, as we know, Labour have a huge aspiration to deliver more homes, and yesterday the government announced exciting new plans to develop not one but 12 possible new towns across the UK, estimated to cost about £48 billion. But they feel that investment will be hugely paid off with the revenue that it will create for the economy in terms of house building, transactions going through, stamp duty receipts, and then, of course, people living and supporting their local area. They've looked at areas where they think actually that public sentiment will not be too bad, as well as spatial and economic factors. And Milton Keynes is up there as certainly being able to support one of these new towns, as is central Bedfordshire. It would be called Tempsford, and it would sit at the intersection of the existing East Coast mainland and a new planned East-West line, sort of between Oxford and Cambridge. And of course, new towns, we've had them over the years. We just haven't had any for a while, I think. I think looking back, there's ones that we don't realise now that were new towns that were and have become very, very established and very well supported, actually. So sometimes doing these big new town projects can be a better way than kind of continually gradually encroaching on the greenbelt, but obviously hugely contentious. Our countryside is beautiful. We live on an island. We do not have infinite land, so it needs to be tempered quite well. But the government certainly has very, very ambitious plans to deliver that, and we will see what they will say about that in the coming months. The whole plan is going to be delivered in July. It's when they're going to talk about it in more detail, about where they're going to be, have lots of visuals for you to see about what it's going to look like, and the plan to deliver it. So yeah, quite exciting, hoping that we deliver a sort of partnership with private companies and community measures, and obviously government intervention. So yeah, exciting news. But interestingly, off-plan property. So this is when someone buys a property from a developer before it's been completed. So what tends to happen is you go along to a site, there might be a show home there for you to look at, and then there's a big sort of scale of the development, and you can choose which number you want. The reason why that's been so popular in the past, firstly, you can probably choose the best possible sites that there are there, but also you can lock in a good price. So if you think markets are rising and property values are going up, then you can hold at that good price. It's very, very popular in 2016, where of course prices were rising. And then we've had a bit more of a volatile market since then. So developers very keen to sell off plan. They love doing it. You exchange on the deal, the completion is delayed, the bank relaxes because it knows the deal will happen. But sometimes that house is not actually delivered until up to 2 years later. And it requires quite a lot of visioning work for buyers. There's no doubt when the development is all done, it's all planted, the trades have left, all the beeping sounds, construction, and everything's looking pretty. It all looks a lot nicer. So you've really got to find that sort of vision buyer who is prepared to lock into something with a long time to delivery, and in the hope the prices will rise, and that's their benefit. And so the market that was traditionally attracted to that was investors. So they like to lock in at those low prices, get often the best sites. That would mean that they would sell well if they decide to sell them on, or indeed they would rent well, and there was money in for them. But this is at its lowest level now on history, buying off plan, showing that it's becoming very, very difficult. Only 31% of properties, new build properties now, are now sold off plan. I can absolutely substantiate that. I have a nightmare selling off plan. It's really tricky. And in fact, I will often turn down an instruction now if I am asked to sell off plan, because sometimes you go in as the first agent, it's all looking a bit tatty. You've still probably got the site toilet there, stinking. You're negotiating with trades, trying to pick your way across to the property and trying to sell the vision of what this is going to be like. And in a difficult market, buyers have got a lot of choice. And when you're not certain prices are going to rise, they're like, what's the point of doing this? So the first agent often gets sacked because they haven't had the best result. And then the development finishes, the second agent comes in. The developers perhaps have an interesting journey on prices during that time as well. So you have a more competitively priced product, presented better, and no surprises, it then sells. So I can absolutely vouch. I used to sell an awful lot of stock off plan. It's much, much harder now. It can lead to a lot of wasted effort, and showing that prices just are not certain that they'll go up. Rightmove published their latest house price index. Average asking prices have gone up again for the fifth consecutive month on a row, and now sitting at an all-time high. So £380,000, the average asking price for a property in the UK. That's the highest on record. But please remember, that is step one of the process. That is the price that properties are going to market at. What sadly the great British public and indeed across the world doesn't see is then what happens behind the scenes. So price renegotiations, offers that are much lower than the asking price, what you eventually sell at, unless you're pretty diligent and set a diary note to look at the land registry 3 months' time from that sale, you're not really going to know what it achieved. So it's only ever step one. And interestingly, it's been the lowest average increase on a month-by-month basis for 6 years now. So although it's sitting at that average high overall, if you looked at a seasonal trend for where it's going, it's low. And that's simply because the market is awash with stock at the moment. Buyer demand hasn't increased at the same level. And so sellers are having to be a little bit more realistic about their pricing. So yeah, as ever, I'll keep you posted with what's going on. There's lots going on around Tunbridge Wells at the moment. Obviously, in London, Chelsea kicks off this week. I am off there tomorrow. I record this on Tuesday, so really looking forward to that. One of my happy places, favourite places to go. I absolutely love that there. Love looking at the gardens and the inspiration. And on that note, I've just recorded a vlog for My Tunbridge Wells, a fabulous publication about the importance of your garden when selling your property. So that should be out any day now, very soon, just in time for Chelsea. And also, Live has come back to the Pantiles on a Thursday night. So that's brilliant. It used to be jazz on the Pantiles, now Live on the Pantiles. It's a bit more of an eclectic display of music. And I am a member of the Warwick Park Residents Association, which is where I live, and a great supporter of them as well. And the new planters are going in on the bridge, for which we have sponsored one. So do look out for those planters on the railway bridge crossing. They are going to be beautiful. Really enhance that area. So they should be being planted in June. Watch this space. A couple of lovely properties that I have taken to market. If you're looking for a really great family home, that either of these would be perfect. They're both generous on bedroom space, both got 5 bedrooms and good on bathrooms as well, and on the reception space. One is on Tunnel Road, so heart of the town, rare and coveted off-road parking. 2 off-road parking spaces and a really fabulous garden with a lovely mural painted by a young, talented local artist on it at a guide price of £885. But if you want to be slightly more out of the town, this one on Romford Road in Pembury on a guide of £975 and has got an absolutely exquisite garden. It's beautiful, really big, really generous, really well tended and looked after. So a really pretty home in a lovely setting. Either of those of interest, give us a call. We're busy, but we will answer the phone and look forward to showing you those. I hope you have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.